I know a lot of the conversation obviously has been between us talking about men's conversations with women, and I'm also curious if you
Hmm.
how much you've researched and looked into sort of like gay couples, non-heterosexual
Yeah.
couples, and how that plays out there as well. Like, do
Yeah.
people sort of
I
take on roles in those relationships?
yeah, I just think one of the most like irrefutable like pieces of evidence that show that like the patriarchy is real and it really does influence and sort of shape men's behavior is just the vast differences between gay men and straight men, right? Like you're the same gender, right? Like you have all the same, right? I mean, not all because sex is, a spectrum, but like overall, you have all the same chromosomes, you have all the same hormones, right? Like you are the same gender and the same sex, but and yet I think there are so many differences between, gay men and straight men. And I think as a woman, my experience. I was just talking about this actually with my, I have this like kind of circle of trust, this kind of committee that I go to when I'm confused by a straight man's behavior. And one of them is a woman and one of them is a gay guy, which is probably why I'm still single because there should be a straight guy in there. But like, I always get a really interesting perspective from the both of them, right? And I think my gay friend is like far more like I don't know, patient and sort of forgiving with men, and again helps me see their perspective more than my single female friend. But there are vast differences, right? Like I feel totally different around a gay man. And again, not to say that all gay men are one way and all straight men are the other way, but I think that gay men um, don't have to protect their masculinity in the same way that I mean, they're some, for men who are still in the closet or men who have to operate in, environments that are homophobic, which is like a lot of environments. I think that's obviously, different, but overall, I think so much of like being a straight guy is like proving that you're straight all the
Yeah.
time, and in small and really big ways. And I think one of the small ways is like I talk about this in the book where one of the people I interviewed was like, I think it's so funny that like women dress up for each other. And I was like, what do
Mm.
you mean? Like, what do you mean we dress up? And he's like, well, you guys go to brunch and like you get pretty for each other. And I was like, you mean like shower and like put on, like, why wouldn't I be pretty? Like, and he's like, when I meet up with my guy friends, like, I have to dress down because if I were to like wear a nice shirt and like wear cologne, for example, like the only acceptable reason for me to be that dressed up is if I'm going on a date with a woman afterwards. Or else it would just be weird for me to dress up for other
The
guys, right?
boys.
Like, and even that in itself, I think is so interesting, right? Like, and maybe it's something that, again, I think a lot of straight men don't even necessarily think about. But yeah, that you're supposed to play down all of the time,
Hmm.
your closeness to other men, it puts a really big strain on your relationships with men.